Hi. Okay. I am in a closet because this was the best place to record. Why the fuck am I even telling you this? You don't care about my well-being. ICP, Insane Clown Posse. I was watching Mr. Gigi's 6-hour-long Disturbing Docs, and I kind of got inspired. So I wanted to find a documentary that was weird and fun, and I found this one documentary called American Juggalo. I have personally never heard of the Juggalo subculture, so I wanted to explore it further. And what I found was a very, very interesting, weird subculture that I wanted to talk about. Being a Juggalo is... I gotta bring this up here. Hello. Being a Juggalo is being a fan of the Detroit-based rap duo Insane Clown Posse, or other groups under their labeled Psychopathic Records. Female Juggalos are also sometimes called Juggalettes. Either way, before we get further into what the subculture is, I thought I could give you a quick history lesson of what Insane Clown Posse is. Insane Clown Posse is a rap duo consisting of two members, Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope. Shaggy 2 Dope also has a lot of nicknames that I thought were very funny. He is not only called Shaggy 2 Dope, he is called Sugar Bear, Sugar Wolf, Kangol Joe, Guy Gorfey, Guido, Hamd Burgla, 2 Dope, Shaggy 2 Dope, Gold D, Full Clip, Mr. Club, Southwest Strangler, Bazooka Joey, Stretcha Nuts, Ronnie Tiger, and Shags. That's a lot of fucking nicknames. These guys also tend to call themselves idiots a lot, and it kind of shines through their interviews. Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope met as kids in Detroit, and they found common ground through wrestling and their love for hip-hop. They became friends, and the group ICP, or Insane Clown Posse, was born. ICP started off actually as a gang called the Inner City Posse, and then they wanted to get into music. That's when they started to get into or make gangster rap. But when they started making gangster rap music, they didn't find a lot of success. They wanted to distinguish themselves from other rappers and decided to drop the entire gangster rap thing to move on and focus on horror rap. During this time, they also tried to come up with a new name for their group, and they eventually decided on the name Insane Clown Posse. They were inspired by a dream that Violent J had. They also decided that they were going to wear spooky clown makeup. Violent J actually claims that when they came to this decision, he later went to bed and he had a dream about a dark carnival. This dream would later become the inspiration of the dark carnival mythology, as well as the Joker card series, which is basically a bunch of their albums released from 1992 to 2004. That was the first set of Joker card albums. I also kind of glanced over it, but they really, really like wrestling. Apparently, they also started a wrestling league called the JCW, or the Juggalo Wrestling Championship, in 1999. And this wrestling league you can watch on their YouTube channel. They scream "twist his dick" a lot. That is very, very common. They're a very controversial group, and I don't think their controversies should be ignored. However, I'm not going to talk about them, as I don't feel like I'm the right person to actually discuss it. I just simply wanted to explore the Juggalo subculture. What about their music? Well, their music is okay. I personally not my thing, but to each their own. So that was just a super, super quick ICP history lesson. Oh yeah, Juggalos are actually also classified as a street gang by the American government. It is a very, very small part of the subculture, but it is still there. And according to Wikipedia, some Juggalo gangs have actually a handbook detailing like gang ranks and responsibilities of the members. Also, reading through Wikipedia, these gangs have been responsible for murder, domestic terrorism, drive-by shootings, drug trafficking, arson, burglary, armed robbery, aggravated assault, and weapon offenses. And now the only thing I can think about is fucking Steve-O getting that Hatchet Man tattoo.
Want to be in the gang? How do I join? And he says, you just get a Hatchet Man tattoo. And I loved the idea of being in trouble with the FBI.
Oh yeah, they also made movies called Big Money Hustlers and Big Money Rustlers. I fucking refuse to watch them. They look terrible. They look actually fucking terrible. But I feel like they knew that, and that they just wanted to have fun and make a shitty movie, which is exactly what they did. I actually kinda skimmed through it a little bit, just jumped in the middle, and the first thing I see was Shaggy 2 Dope falling in love with an extremely obese stripper, and he just goes, whoa, that's a whole lot of woman. That's enough woman to last me a lifetime. And I find that it was really fucking stupid, but also very entertaining, and kind of telling of the type of characters they are. This group has grown a lot. It's really, really big. So they have their own festival called Gathering of the Juggalos. If you would like to see what the experience is like at Gathering of the Juggalos, you can watch Brandon Buckingham's vlogs of the festival. I recommend them. They're very fun. And he has quite a few of them. He has gone to a couple of them. They're held every year for like a week in August. And during this time, there's a lot of wild... This is a wild fucking festival. This is not your usual like fun going having a drink type of festival. Wild shit happens. One of the first things I saw when I logged onto the Reddit, a woman shooting fireworks out of her pussy. I also heard there was a dick sucking contest. There are so many naked people, it's insane. It's also very open drug use. There is an allegedly fuck tent. There are also skim swings, carnival rides, and according to Jelly Roll, a lot of Juggalos smells like his cock. But they have really good acid, so it's also a common misconception that Violent J brought up during one of his interviews was the fact that it's dangerous to go to the Gathering of the Juggalos. According to him, there is absolutely zero danger of actually going there. The only people it's dangerous for is the artists. The prime example of this was Tila Tequila, who came there to perform, and apparently that did not end well at all. What makes a Juggalo? Well, common characteristics of a Juggalo includes drinking and spraying the expensive soft drink Fuego, listening to horrorcore and other types of underground rap music, wearing the face paint, wearing hatchet gear, doing your hair in the spider leg style, like one of the Twisted members, which is another band under like the Juggalo subculture. Displaying the gesture of Wicked Clown, the West Side sign with the left hand, and the C sign in American Sign Language. Making the whoop whoop calls. Whoop 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 whoop. And apparently being kinda into murder with sharp objects. I'm gonna talk about some of the terminology. I'm sure I've already put like some definitions of some other ones. They use the word ninja a lot, and when I searched for what exactly they meant by this, it's the first and best definition I found was the user-friendly version of the N-word. Hatchet gear is basically merch sold by Psychopathic Records. Hatchet Man is their logo, the ICP logo. Apparently it represents loyalty, resistance, and unique identity. It's also a slang for Chinese assassin. I do not talk about every single use of terminology because there's so fucking many. It's insane. And this subculture has been around for a long time. So when researching the terminology, I found that most websites are very, very dated. Like this shit is made with angel fire. You remember Angel Fire? I fucking doubt it, you liar. They go whoop whoop. It's a call sign, as I said before. My best guess is that the whoop whoop came from their song called Stomp, where they say, I say stomp, you say woo woo. I don't know why they drink Fuego. It's a soft drink that it was originally made in Detroit, which I guess is why they drink a lot of Fuego. But they don't just drink Fuego, they shoot it like fucking rockets. If you ever see one of their concerts, there are just bottles flying fucking everywhere. Either way, it's really weird. When speaking to the Juggalos, a lot of people say that it's a very family-oriented subculture. It's also a culture full of love, and there are all different kinds of Juggalos. There are doctors, there are homeless people, there are members of the LGBTQ, there are straight edge, just drug users. Alright, let's get into the documentary. The documentary starts off great. The intro is amazing. It starts off by showing people at the festival doing what Juggalos do. Basically, they're having a fucking blast. People are dancing, they're smoking, they're drinking, and they're goofing off. One guy even shows off his honestly fucking amazing hacky sack skills. It's also here where you see your first naked person, and there are a lot to come. There are a lot of fucking naked people in this doc. Basically, the rest of the doc consists of interviews with different type of Juggalos. I'm not going to talk about every single one, but I am going to talk about the ones that I thought really stood out or that I found very, very interesting. And I really think this doc is a great representation of what Juggalos are. A very, very diverse group of individuals gathering around their love for one band. There's this one guy who is super well spoken and has a great vocabulary, and he talks about how this culture brings people together no matter what path in life you're walking, and that each individual brings something to the culture that brings them together. There's a woman that says that the guy behind her basically saved her life and helped her out even when her family wouldn't. Oh yeah, and then there's my favorite, Fuckman. Fuckman says fuck a lot.
And then my fucking homeboy fucking shows up out of nowhere and gets me back to the fucking tent. Man, apparently I fucking fell out in the middle of the road.
And besides talking about how ICP changed his life for the better, and how he went on a bender and describes he went on a bender and he describes it as a spectacle. He is also the best moment of this entire fucking doc due to one little phrase where he just talks about family and love, and then he goes on to say
everything. Man, I cook like a motherfucker. I want to find a skinny ass little bitch and make her fat, and we go lose weight together and we'll bond.
I love him so much. Then there is Maniac, who is clearly on drugs. That's a lot of fucking drugs. Oh yeah, I can't show it, but right after Maniac, there is a naked girl who might be pregnant. I'm not entirely sure. Either way, she's being interviewed, and the interview gets interrupted by a guy because he wants to take a pic with the naked chick. And while he's posing for the photo, he just reaches down and licks her tit. Whoop whoop. After that, there's Whippet Man. Basically a guy who is inhaling whippets like it's nothing. He basically talks about how not all Juggalos are white trash and that they're not all stupid, but there are a few Juggalos who they're quite out there. He's not one of them, but there are some that is quite out there. And he's saying all this while just inhaling whippets. You know, the thing that is proven to kill your fucking brain cells? Thank God this man did not discover the galaxy gas. Or I really hope he hasn't, because then it's just over for him. The man is just overdosing on blueberry gas. We then get kind of a sad interview with a guy who says he has failing kidneys. He's on a waiting list to receive a transplant, but he doesn't know if he's actually gonna live long enough to see it. And until he actually gets his transplant or he dies, he's just gonna do what he loves and spend time with the people who he loves. And he loves being at the festival, and that's where he feels like he belongs. That moment actually really got to me. I really hope he's okay, dude. Hope you got the kidneys. Well, after this kind of heartwarming moment and very, very sad moment, we move on to a family of Juggalettes. And Jesus Christ, they're so trashy. I don't want to shit on people, but yikes. They're just they are just looking for a good time, but yikes. One of them is pregnant and she's smoking at the same time. It just kind of screams uneducated and dumb. I'm sorry. Then the doc just kind of shows the other side of the coin. We get interviews with people who are managers. They want to become doctors. And there are even people with young children. Bringing your child to this fucking place is very, very questionable. There are so many naked people all around and people on drugs. You're kind of just asking for your kid to become traumatized. So did I like this doc? Yeah, I really did. I thought it was an interesting look into a subculture that I didn't know a lot about. And it did not shy away from actually showing both sides of the coin, the educated and trashy. It did show the trashy, it did show the educated, the smart and the dumb. It also had some amazing, beautiful visuals that I was not prepared of. And I genuinely think if this doc had a bigger budget and a longer runtime, it would be kind of a masterpiece. So, what are my final... What happened? So what are my final thoughts about this subculture? Well, I'm sure there are a lot of aspects that I missed or glossed over, and feel free to comment them. Juggalos is a culture that welcomes everyone with no exception. I find it really fascinating how a culture that revolves around two 50-year-old men shooting sodas and rapping about a bunch of weird shit has sparked such an accepting movement. It's extremely trashy. There's violence, there's drugs, and sometimes it's downright dirty and disturbing at times. But it's also kind of a warm and accepting, and they take care of each other no matter what. As weird as this subculture is, it's also kind of beautiful. Whoop whoop.